Hello out there. Welcome to the Heavy Montes podcast and my comedy show. America, please keep subscribing to the Heavy Monte YouTube channel. We're well on our way to our 1,000 to 1,000 subscribers. But today, America, we want to talk about women. You understand? 57% white women voted for Donald Trump, even though he threatened them and said that he would put them in jail. And some Republicans say put them to death for having an abortion and having the nerve and sensitivity and audacity to take, and say they want to control their bodies. You understand? So they magnetize these women. Now, Heavy Monte wants to tell each one of you women out there, regardless of your race, why you should not vote for a Republican. And after I tell you this stuff, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can keep you on the right track and you won't become a maggot and become maggotized. In 1974, Republicans and conservatives voted against the Equal Credit Act that would allow women to apply for their own fucking credit cards. You understand? Men would have to co-sign. You understand? For your shit. The man that was whooping your ass, keeping you barefoot and pregnant, messing up your body. You understand? You see what I'm saying? You were having babies every year. You know what I'm saying? And dying. For men. Because, you gave them a rib. You made them eat the apple in the garden. You understand? You see? And Jesus, this man, is God. Okay? All right? A man who they don't even respect. You know what I'm saying? They already kicked Jesus to the curb. And your ass, too. So that's one thing, women. Another thing. In 1978, Republicans voted against the Pregnancy Act. They wanted to keep the employers' rights to fire pregnant women. You get pregnant, you're gone. You understand? That's your problem. That's what they say. And you voted for them. Okay, America, I'm going to keep going. So you and me can know what's going on here. In 1980, they voted against allowing women to report sexual harassment in the workplace. They said men will be men. So he pat you on your ass and tap you on your ass and grab your pussy. It's all right, Donald Trump say. Huh? That's the whole entire Republican Party. You understand? They'll grab you right between your legs, and rape you. That's fine, And a bunch of Republican Party has candidates have supported rape. Say one candidate, Republican, said when a man rapes a woman, she can just cut that thing off. You know what I'm saying? Close her legs, but he can't rape her. So it's the woman's fault. You understand? And you voted for this motherfucker, a Republican. You see what I'm saying? You better know your history. You understand? And don't let nobody tell you this bullshit that black people, the descendants of slaves, you don't want your children to know what the hell happened. We don't give a fuck. We didn't do any, black. I was never a slave. That's your shit. if you take ownership of it, I'm not. Heavy ain't never been a slave, never will be a slave. You understand? Because in my current condition and who I am, and I have the mind that I have right now, the slave master, I'll fuck him up and, and die. You know what I'm saying? They ain't picking no fucking cotton for your ass, motherfucker. And if I was Hispanic, I'd do the same thing. Pick your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, now they said in 2012, the Republican Party voted against equal pay and equal work for women. Men, they should be paid more. You understand, women? You ain't shit to the Republican Party. Huh? You ain't nothing to them. They despise your ass worse than they despise black people. Huh? Because their God said that you are property. Don't vote for them motherfuckers. You understand? Never, ever, if you're a woman, vote for a fucking Republican. Especially for what I'm telling you right now. Now, they took in 1994 and 2012, they voted against Violence Against Women Act. So they can beat your ass because you're property. You understand? Which help victims of domestic violence and rape, get educated in the law and let people know that you don't have to be ripped by people. You can turn them into the police. They go to fucking jail. Okay? In 1972, they fought against selling birth control to single women until the Supreme Court made it available for all America. So that's enough, women, for you not to vote for them again. Now in America, now these Republicans have tested positive for treason. Look at a couple of bastards. See that? These people right here have tested, for treason. You know what I'm saying? They're tested positive. What is positive? Project 2025. That's the treasonous documents. Now I want to go a little bit to talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit. Charlie Kirk, he's making a little money. He was used by these guys. He's going out on the campuses. They're telling the American people that somehow they, are trying to protect the Jewish community when they're made up of white supremacists. And the Jews fell for that shit. They destroyed. They have destroyed Israel. How in the hell can Israel say that they have the right to exist when the other guy don't? Huh? And they have a criminal president, just like we got. You see what I'm trying to tell you? You understand what I'm saying? If I was a Jew living in Israel, I'd get the fuck out of there. Because they're coming for you. Huh? Everybody's going to have, atomic weapons. You understand? Everybody. Iran's going to have them. Ain't a goddamn thing you can be able to do about it. This is the same way you couldn't stop. You can't stop Korea. How the fuck you think you can stop Iran? Huh? Get your ass out of Israel. Because your day coming. Huh? Don't believe that shit about, the world's going to end and all this shit, and God coming back to Israel. Why the fuck would God want to go back to Israel? You know what I'm saying? After they got killed all the fucking people. Okay, so that's some stupid shit. Now, Charlie Kirk said, quote unquote, we as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file be released. And the motherfucker dead. They killed the son of a bitch. In my opinion, ain't no way in the hell they could have let Charlie Kirk live. If Charlie Kirk came out and said the files had to be released like he did, that was the death warrant for his ass. You understand? Jeffrey Epstein was in the clear. He would have walked because he had all these agreements. He did. You understand? So you have death and finance and the Republican Party covering up for Donald Trump. Donald Trump guilty is the motherfucker. You understand? Everybody knows it. You understand? Now I'm going to talk a little bit about people who would accept an award, from a fucking pedophile. You understand? A possible pedophile. Somebody who's doing the stuff that Donald Trump is doing in America. You understand? Somebody who's doing this stuff. I understand George Strait. He received the award. Took his hat off, they say. I'm not playing your music again. Sylvester Stallone, I'm not watching your shows. They make money off of us. And if you're associated with Donald Trump, I'm not buying shit from your ass. Do you understand? If you're associated with Donald Trump, I'm not buying nothing from you. Now, I'm going to tell you how dirty these Republicans are. Back up Mike Johnson, a closet gay person. They say he loved gay porn. He's on the goddamn gay network all the fucking time. The news ain't covering that. ABC, why don't you cover that? You know what I'm saying? Let us know that a man who say he's a Christian, okay, is living with an old man, they say. The preacher. Huh? You know what I'm saying? His wife was on TV with him. You understand? He ain't nowhere in the hell. I think that woman was sleeping with that man, in my opinion. Okay? I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? She seemed to disdain that motherfucker when she was talking about it. You understand? What kind of woman that go on TV and say her husband, never finishes shit? She said that. Huh? That's what she said. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Okay, I heard it from my own ears. Mega Mike Johnson, this is the closet gay. Lindsey Graham, closet gay. Tim Burkett stuck his finger up a guy's ass on the goddamn on floor, and the video was out there. Might have played it. Huh? Marjorie Taylor Greene said during the Met Gaetz thing that these Republican congressmen are some of the nastiest, low-down, dirtiest dog sexual deviants in the world, she said. Doing shit right on the floor. And she said if they did anything to Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz is free, that she was going to tell everybody. And Marjorie Taylor Greene got information. She coming out with this shit. That's the reason why she says that they might kill her. You see? Yeah, she's coming out with that shit. You know. So Heavy Monte wants to say this to everybody out there. Okay, the Republican Party is what you see. You know, and what they do. You know, Donald Trump. Okay, is, in my opinion, guilty of treason and arrest spy. But the Republican Party does nothing. Donald Trump, okay, may be a pedophile, but the Republican Party does nothing. And that Supreme Court does nothing. You understand? You know, and it's Democrats, you know. Now, since the Republican Party has showed the world and everybody who they are, they need to be abolished. A political party that does what they did to the American people, you know, denying us food and slaughtering and murdering 200,000 people by denying food, putting the country in, you know, in danger by not, you know, providing us with the medical services, hospitals, and things that we need, taking the hospitals away. You understand? Everything. Now, I heard a Democrat walk up to one of my good friends, and my friend made a speech, and he said that they were going to close these hospitals. And this guy says, and he also said that they were liars and crooks of the Republican Party. And this Democrat said, you shouldn't call, we were eating dinner, you shouldn't call the Republicans liars. And you know that no hospitals are going to close. They're closing because they bullshitted the Democrat that's not to stay home and not to vote. You see what I'm trying to say? They bullshitted those Democrats, you know, to stay home and, you know, saying that Donald Trump, a man who been bankrupt, you know what I'm saying, his history and all the shit he was doing with Vladimir Putin and Ukraine was burned. Those motherfuckers voted for Donald Trump. And they'll suffer. They will pay. You understand? Because what goes around, motherfucker. So if you voted for Donald Trump and you find your life in the fucking toilet like you do right now, that's where you belong. In the toilet, right along with your master and your king. You see? And Democrats, get your head together. You know what I'm saying? We want to know and account for every fucking dollar that goes down to South Carolina. Hmm? Yeah, we want to. I bet you if we start doing this shit, we'll find out that these motherfuckers are involved in some criminal shit and stealing the money away from the taxpayers that live in those states. There's no excuse, huh, for them to be poor, South Carolina, all the fucking money that comes to that goddamn state, huh? Charleston, South Carolina itself, you know what I'm saying, is growing so fast. Billions of dollars in that motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? And now, you stupid son of bitches in the red states, they're going to be pulling out. You understand? People are going to be closing down their shit. Nobody wants to work for a fucking racist. You understand? A dinosaur. Somebody who hunt down people like dogs. A Republican Party. Huh? And the Hispanics, they're picking up. They said half of them don't even have a criminal record. That's against the law. And you motherfuckers at ICE and everybody who's doing that shit, when we take over, we need to arrest those motherfuckers and put them in jail. Send them bastards to Alligator Alley. The head of ICE, that motherfucker, send him to Alligator Alley, America. And we are the majority. We are not afraid of those motherfuckers. You understand? You know, we are the majority, America. Huh? You understand? When we cut the fucking $81 million off, going to the red states, let them eat shit. You understand? They said they don't want the federal money. They hate the federal government, but they got the fucking hands up begging California for $81 million. Huh? You know what I'm trying to say? Those red states need to know what they did. And they need to suffer in what they did to us. What they did. If I was Hispanic, I'll move. I wouldn't even step foot down there. If I was a black person or a liberal, I would move and let them live in that shit. You understand? The motherfuckers are still fighting the Civil War. Death and destruction come to those damn racist dogs. You understand what I'm saying? If you're Hispanic, move. Don't pick no cottonwood ambassadors again. Okay? Don't pick nothing. They're going to do shit for them. Don't build no houses. Make them fix their own shit. And all the jobs will be yours. The jobs in the field. The jobs will climb up to these goddamn skyscrapers doing the shit that you got Hispanics and blacks people doing. You understand? Do your own shit. Huh? You know? Seriously. You know, sick and tired of motherfuckers. Go to church. Huh? Let your women die in the goddamn fucking hospital from can't get medical care. We don't give a fuck about you anymore. You have to care just just as much for people as they care for you. If a motherfucker is trying to kill you and he's got a goddamn AK-47 and threatening your fucking children and shit, you better be ready for the son of a bitch. You understand? And they are cowards. Huh? When the shooting starts, the motherfuckers will be crying. You understand? Crying. Huh? Because there ain't that many of them. Who the fuck will help you in your small fucking town? Donald Trump already said he's going to do away with the Second Amendment. You dumb motherfucker to take your fucking gun. You know, you're gonna turn them in if he sends a jet over your fucking house, huh? And blow up your fucking town, you ignorant son of a bitch. You know what I'm trying to tell you? You know? In the north, that blue wall, let's put it back together. And I'm gonna say something to you right now. Ain't no way the fuck Donald Trump won the election fairly. The American people didn't vote that motherfucker. They cheated. It'll come out. Huh? It'll come out that they did this shit. You know what I'm trying to tell you? And they're fighting for their fucking lives. The Supreme Court said, look, if the Democrats take over, they're going to investigate us. Huh? We're going to investigate John Roberts' wife, see if she's doing any goddamn thing wrong. We're going to take Clarence Thomas' wife and ask that bitch if she was goddamn fucking involved in the, January, 6th thing. That's what I called her. Let's call her that. I don't call her shit like that. But her, the name was for her. Low down fucking dog. You know what I'm trying to say? A nasty stink motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Out there spreading that shit. We love the president. Donald Trump, the country isn't going to be any good. Me and my husband need to keep on getting these RVs and all these free kickbacks. You understand? And making money off of people, telling people the country ain't no fucking good. So she's an asshole. Okay? A legal wife. You know what I'm saying? They said, don't talk about the wives. She hung a goddamn flag upside down. Let me do it in front of my fucking house and see what happens. Huh? They'll come and say, hey, look, this motherfucking is a militant. You understand? And the legal says somebody has to win. Huh? A Supreme Court justice took sides. Huh? John Roberts, he's a fucking supporter suppressionist. You understand? Amy Coney Barrett, that motherfucker is a stone cold fucking handmaiden. You understand? You understand? And the rest of the motherfuckers, they're crooks. We need them. Now, when the Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan comes out and tells you that these are some low-down, cheating motherfucking dogs that don't believe in the Constitution, an arm of a pedophile president and a pervert president. That's what you got in the Supreme Court. We need to clean house. Huh? And we need to pass a bill. We need to abolish the Republican Party. They are fucking Nazis. You see what I'm saying? This is Heavy Monte for the Heavy Monte Podcast and the Heavy Monte Comedy Show. Ain't enough time in the day for me to tell you how much we should despise and hate traitors, treason people, guilty of treason. Pick up a copy of Project 2025 and read that shit for yourself. And I guarantee you will never vote for another Republican again. Please subscribe to the Heavy Monte YouTube channel and never, ever vote for a Republican.